Hello, and welcome to my presentation. Today, I will be presenting on the harmful effects of sunscreen. My name is Caitlin Katasic, and for the past couple of weeks, I have been researching the potential hazards of frequent sunscreen use. Whether you're going to the beach, the lake, hiking, kayaking, or biking, someone will usually remind you to put on your sunscreen and to even reapply. And it's become very normal for people to include sunscreen in their daily regimen for UV protection. Sunscreen has become a part of normal life. According to a Harvard University study, there are two types of sunscreen: physical blockers and chemical blockers. A physical blocker leaves a thick physical barrier between the sun and your skin, keeping it from absorbing UV rays because it never touches your skin. This can be very thick and oily and leaving consumers reaching for a chemical blocker for that not their feel. A chemical blocker sunscreen uses an active ingredient to chemically keep your skin from absorbing the UV rays from the sun. According to a study from the EWG Sunscreen Guide Report, some common side effects of sunscreen are acne and dry skin. However, this research article does also mention how sunscreen is not proven to be connected to cancer and is actually a good barrier to protect against skin cancer from UV rays. However, the active ingredient in most chemical blocking sunscreens is oxybenzone. An Oxford Health study talks about how oxybenzone is a known hormone blocker, which is how it works in a chemical sunscreen to keep your skin from absorbing UV rays. However, in studies, oxybenzone has been shown to be linked to shorter pregnancies and lower birth rates and even lower testosterone levels in young children. 4,000 to 6,000 tons of sunscreen are washed into the ocean each year by a National Park Service article. This shows how much sunscreen is dumped into the ocean every single year. So in addition to that sunscreen possibly causing issues in young mothers and young children, there's a lot of that substance being washed into the ocean, and that can take effect in some of our aquatic ecosystems. Oxybenzone is being absorbed by many coral reefs. Also supported by the National Park System, it talks about how the oxybenzone in the water is washed over to where coral lives and is absorbed by that coral. And as the coral metabolizes that oxybenzone, it releases a toxin. And the algae that covers the coral and gives it its colorful color also protects against different diseases. And as that toxin is released, the algae is ejected from the coral, leaving it open to disease and leaving no more nutrients for the fish that surround the coral and use it as its home. Here I have a time lapse provided by the National Park Service, and here you have a very healthy coral with vibrant algae and several fish species living amongst the coral. Here you have a bleached coral where that toxin has been released and the algae has been ejected. Many of the fish populations have left by now because there are no more nutrients or protection being provided by the coral reef. Now, here in this last picture, disease has gotten to the coral because that algae's not been there to protect it and it is left very barren and thin and brittle and is not useful at all in the ocean. Some of the top brands are responsible for this. Save the Reef provides that many brands like Equate, Coppertone, and Banana Boat all use oxybenzone as an active ingredient in their sunscreens. They market this by being a thinner sunscreen and a chemical sunscreen, but that oxybenzone that they use in the sunscreen is what is causing these problems with young mothers and children and in the oceans. How to protect against oxybenzone? One way is to work and find oxybenzone-free labels as well as coral reef safe labels on your sunscreen. By being a smart consumer, you can prevent the amount of oxybenzone that you are releasing into the environment and exposing yourself to. You can also support the ban of oxybenzone in America. In some countries like Australia, they have a ban on oxybenzone sunscreen and cosmetics to protect their reef systems. In conclusion, we are reminded of some of the physical hazards that come with using oxybenzone in sunscreens, where it's coming to shorter pregnancies, lower birth rates, and lower testosterone levels, as well as affecting our coral reef systems, poisoning them heavily. In conclusion, I want to advise everyone to be a smart consumer and to support the ban against oxybenzone in America, leading to safer sunscreens, healthier pregnancies, and healthy coral reefs. Thank you. Here are my references.